Oh, we're rolling.
Hi. Hi, I'm Carolyn.
And I'm Anna.
And we're two sisters who love handcrafting and figuring things out.
Welcome. We're so bad you're here. We're so glad you're here.
We're so glad you're here.
It is May 13th, and it is our 26th episode. I remember that in my brain because I doubled 13. Mm-hmm. We're coming to you from sunny Northern California. And again, welcome. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, good to see you all. We've had some really good weather finally again. We had a really good weather, and then I think last time we filmed I'm like, oh, it's perfect. And then we had 2 weeks of rain and cold, and now it's back to being nice. So
I have some photos of that coming because
when
I was field tripping with the sixth graders, it was cloudy and rainy.
Yeah.
And weather was wild.
Yeah. I can't believe that was between floss tubes. Yeah. Okay. So thanks for being here. We have our pretty normal episode here in line for you. We're going to talk about what we're wearing. We have lots.
Define normal.
Yeah, that's right.
Typical?
Yeah. I feel like we're sort of getting in, we sort of have a pattern. So
I think so too.
Yeah. We have a pattern.
Feels great.
So we're going to talk about what we're wearing. We are going to share, we have finishes, we have whips, we have plans. So I think we have a lot of good stuff there. And then let's see, we have a couple shared supplies and some patterns and different things to show. And of course, we're going to end with our thumbs up. As always, you can find your chapters if you want to zip around and go to specific things. Also, I'd love to hear in the comments, do you ever use the chapters? And would you like the chapters to be finer grain? For example, I have one chapter that would just be whips, but would you like a chapter for each of the whips?
With the name of
with
each
the
pattern?
name, so it would be salt boxes or something. So I'm just curious.
These are the kind of questions I feel like we ask our students.
I know.
Because we think
I
this is going to be great. And I actually really enjoy chapters on other floss tubes.
I do too.
But then we got to hear it. Actually, what do you think?
I think it was, it might have been Lauren of the New Hampshire Stitcher. I think she had a chapter for each of her whips. I think it was her. And I was like, ooh, and I just kind of zipping back and forth. I know, I often say to my students, I'm like, give me feedback. What would you like? Is there anything I can do to make your experience better? Because I'm like, this is your math class. It's not my math class. It's your math class. So, hey, if you're a viewer, you're part of it. We'd love to hear some feedback. How can we make the video a better experience for you? But don't tell us to change ourselves, because we are what we are.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, let's see. What's been going on the last couple of weeks?
Well, I mentioned the field trip. So our every year we go on a 3-day field trip up to the Marin Headlands, which is right on the other side of the Golden Gate Bridge. So in the past week, I've had incredible views of the Golden Gate Bridge with the students on the other side. So when you look, you see the bridge and the city, and we'll put a picture up. And there we saw a lighthouse, put a picture up. And there were a lot of baby harbor seals. I mean, it is just glorious. And even though it did rain every day, there's something about the clouds and the sun coming through.
So dramatic.
Dramatic, and its own beauty. And the students were just really good sports.
Yeah. And anybody that's been to San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge really is iconic. And
it's a must see, and I highly recommend hopping over if you have a car, or even just Uber over or walking to see the bridge from the other direction too is just amazing.
And there's some combination of maybe the simplicity of the design, but the color it's painted against the color of our sky and hills and the water. Like, and you all around the city, you'll like it's like there's one place when you're going over 19 and you go over a hill and all of a sudden you're like, oh, you can see a little bit of the bridge. Like,
yes, there are all these places where you can just see the top little triangle.
Yeah.
And then a couple days later, after I was home, my husband was like, let's go up to Tunnel Tops Park, which is one of our favorite places where you see it's on the city side. So then you see the Marin Headland Hills on the other side. So here's a picture of me just straight out chilling at Tunnel Tops, and a picture of the bridge from the city side. So Tunnel Tops Park is up on a hill, and we walked down to the water, and then we went and walked up the hill to get to Equator Coffee, which is a coffee shop we really like, that's right at the start of the bridge. And we actually walked across the bridge.
Oh, wait, where's the coffee shop?
You know that circular building, that's a little restaurant? The Equator Coffee's in there now.
Oh, fun. That is a great destination then for a walk.
It was a great walk, some up and down. And I think we walked for 4 miles. James always tracks it, so it's on his watch. So
you're like, I'm going to get a pastry with that coffee then, right?
Although he did say, after all that walking, it's something like 300 calories. It's always sobering.
Yeah.
Not that we're worried about that, but he's into data.
Yeah. It's good.
All right, what about you?
So one of the things I did between our last ones is I went to our local needlework store, LNS, needlework store, LNS.
Local needlework store.
Okay.
LNS, yes.
Yeah. Which is Needle in a Haystack, and that's in Alameda, California. So it's about a 45 to 50 minute drive without traffic. So it's like a
pretty intense drive.
So it's not like you just zip over there. And they're still in the situation that you make an appointment, which I actually don't mind. They're so good. You email for an appointment and it's like you get a reply right away. And I've never had an appointment. Like sometimes they'll tweak the time just a little bit. But then I feel like the nice thing about an appointment is I go into that store with a list. And like I know what I want. And I particularly like to go there. I went there and you'll see a project later because I wanted to do a silk conversion or something, and like I feel there are times where you just have to see the colors for yourself.
Yes.
So I'm going up there, and then once I'm going up for that, I think maybe look at a few linens where you can really look at the colors, or I just got a few other little things. But I just love going there, and it's almost like an intense experience because
it's very focused for me.
Very focused because your time is an hour. Although I went during the week because don't forget I'm on sabbatical.
Last time I went, I was a little early for my appointment, and so I walked around, and I mean, you have to go through a tunnel to get to Alameda, but I did not realize that it's right there on the water. Like you walk a couple hundred yards, and there are all these ships and water, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, and they have a really big, nice Target right there too.
Oh, I haven't found that yet.
I went on that this time. So that's just always like a joy to go there. And at this point, I think we go about every 3 or 4 months.
I was gonna say quarterly.
Yeah, which feels about
or to a store quarterly, like when we went up to Susan's, then we didn't.
Doing that. And the other big thing is super excited. My son's family that lives in New York, they're gonna come out in about a week now, and they'll be in the California area for like 5 weeks.
Amazing.
So my son works remotely, so he can work wherever he is. And interestingly enough, he lives in New York but works for a California company, so he's actually going to be closer. They'll be at our house for a big chunk of time, but this has been a great time. I've just been like organizing and cleaning out things and wanting to make sure that they have plenty of space here. As my husband and I say, we're like, we want to make it as easy for them when they're visiting or when we're visiting them, so that they are like, yeah, let's do that again, or yeah, let's have mom and dad come over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and it's such a pleasure.
And that's just been really, that feels good. And there are always times, we've been in our house now for like 30 years, and things like just start to accumulate. Or we have, like, California houses are not huge, and we have 3 bedrooms. And 2 of the bedrooms now, my husband has taken one over as an office, and I keep like craft stuff in the other one. But we're like, the family's going to stay in those 2 bedrooms. So it's been like emptying those out and organizing those. But it feels really good.
And also pulling out the old toys that you saved from your own sons. And like you know which ones you're actually really going to use.
I know.
And which you're not.
I know. Now that the girls are getting older, so super excited about that. Okay. So let's do a little toast.
Okay. So I know this will be published after Mother's Day weekend, but we are filming on Mother's Day weekend. And so I wanted to offer a toast to our mother, who just she has so many opinions about things. She has a great sense of fun. She is incredibly strong. physically and emotionally. She's in her 80s and she gardens for hours every day. It's amazing.
And hardworking. Like she still like cooks every meal, and she raised 5 kids. She's a math teacher.
She is like a person who just lives with love at the forefront. She has great clarity about what is important to her and what is not. And her family is important to her, and some other things. And she always has time. She always has time for you. She always has time for a conversation.
Yeah. I think the other thing, I think we said this before, is she also sees the good in everybody.
Oh yeah.
Or just, and it, also growing up, like if we were interested in something, she's like, sure, let's give it a go. Like never told us like, oh, you talked about this, like for a while, like at least I was like so into gymnastics, and I was actually a pretty good athlete and for some things, but gymnastics, I just stunk it up. But she's like, I don't care. I don't care if you're good or not. Like, sure, if you're enjoying it, sure, I'll take you to gymnastics.
Right. So we both feel incredibly fortunate to have the childhoods that we had and to continue to, we live in the same town as our mom, so we see her a lot, and it's a wonderful part of my life.
I appreciate her so much more as an adult. As a kid, I think maybe you just take your mom for granted. I don't know. I did.
Yeah.
But I don't anymore. I don't anymore. I don't anymore.
In our temperaments.
Yeah. So our mom loves candy, and she loves dark chocolate almonds, and this is a gift I give her every year. So we're gonna toast her. We have this wonderful place, I've talked about this before, See's Candy on the West Coast. So we're toasting Mom with See's Candy, dark chocolate almonds. Here's to you, Mom.
To you, Mom. There's another part of our toast.
And then we also just wanted to toast in our family, we call our parents Gen 1, we're Gen 2, Gen 3 are our kids and their partners. I just want to toast those Gen 3 moms. They're doing it. They're in the thick of things.
They are
doing it with style. Is so hard. And you know what? I think a hard thing about being a parent these days is with all the social media, I think there's this pressure that there's like this one way to be a parent.
And so much information about safety, too.
Oh, I know.
Like,
I know.
Not that you don't want to be informed, but at some point you can feel
it's like too much.
Yeah.
Anyways, Gen 3 moms, you're doing a great job, too. I'm going to have to toast you a little bit, too. I'm just going to lick my finger, sorry.
It's warm. I have so much admiration and respect for all of our Gen 3s.
You're doing a great job. All right. Yeah. Anna, what are you wearing?
It's a little hard to show because it's a pair of pants this time. Okay, we might be getting silly this episode. I can't even. Peek at there. Yeah, they're called the Free Range Slacks, and they're designed slacks. That's how you say slacks when you have candy in your mouth. They're designed by Sew House 7. Great patterns, great indie pattern maker. I feel like I can wear these with my shirt all the way tucked in. I can wear my shirt out. I can do a little half tuck, which I'm sporting today. And the linen I made it with, maybe all linen does. It has faded and it bags really easy.
In the butt?
I have like a baggy butt. So these have really ended up sort of fitting the bill, and I think it's why I haven't shown them before, is that they're kind of like pajamas or like hanging out leggings at home kind of feel. I did wear them over to Carolyn's. I'll probably wear them out to pizza tonight, but
so they're kind of more like your cozy pants or just your hangout pants.
So if I made them again, I would have to, actually she offers, I can't remember what she calls it. It's essentially like a flat butt adjustment, and I made some adjustment, but I need to make more of an adjustment, and I think they've gotten bigger.
Oh yeah, this is a cute picture.
So yeah, this is my single Instagram account, which is my sewing account. Carolyn took this picture of me when I first made these. You see how excited I was? I actually was really excited. And here's another one.
Because they look so much darker, actually.
They're definitely darker and crisper, and I actually think the rear fits better. So I think they have gone from like casual slacks to PJs.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so we got a good view of this, the catwalk.
So yeah. What are you wearing, Carolyn?
All right, so you're probably wondering, because it's like 80 degrees out, like, why am I this? So I just want to talk about California layering. So this is my outfit at the start of the day today. I went out and actually met a friend for coffee at around 9 in the morning.
Nice.
I know, it was really fun. So I have the shawl, and I don't think I've shown this one before. This is called the Slow Curve Shawl, and it's designed by Locatelli. Any knitter will, of course, recognize that name. Oh, excuse the chocolate. So it's a really wonderful curve, and I love the curve design because I feel like it really wraps around your neck well. The yarn I used for this is by an indie dyer, Earl Grey Fiber Co. I don't know if she's still dyeing. At the time, she was living in Berkeley, and she was a new mother, and she was like, oh, I kind of want to play with dyeing. And so she just started dyeing yarn in her apartment, and there was a knitting store that was like couple blocks from her, and that knitting store started carrying her yarn. And so I found her in that very beginning, and these are just 3 different colors from that. And then she went on to be a pretty busy, I know I've bought lots of her yarns before, but I haven't heard much from her recently, so I don't know if she's still dyeing. So that's the shawl.
Maybe onto a new season.
But then, like, I'm having my coffee, and then once we're done, I had to run some errands, and I'm like, oh, I'm starting to get a little sweaty. So this comes off and goes in the bag. And then I have on this sweater. I've shown this one before, but I love it. This is called the Leonie sweater. It's by CocoKnits, Julie Weisenberger. And her designs, I feel, are very simple and really fit really well. Like, for example, there's a seam that comes down the shoulder, but it keeps the shoulders really in place and from being baggy. So really, really simple sweater. It's done with a, I think it's a cotton tape, but again, it is a tape.
Oh, I can see it now. Yes, yes.
3/4 length sleeves and great layering piece. But once I was done with my errands, I'm like, done with this.
Couple more hours,
couple more hours, and so that's how we do it in California.
When the kids were little, I always had sweatshirts in the back.
Oh yeah,
always.
Yeah. Or if you didn't, like, you were buying a sweatshirt, like so many times you take the kids up to San Francisco, and you're like, well, need to get a sweatshirt at the zoo. And then, we're going to go out to dinner tonight. We go to this pizza place, and a sweater will come on, or probably by the evening, I'll have the shawl back on. So I think sometimes our temperature can vary like 30 degrees for the day. Okay, so that's what I was wearing.
Cute tunic too.
Yeah, I like this one.
Okay.
Let's do some finishes. All right.
Yeah. So this was fully finished last time, but I restuffed it. So this is my Martha Evans, a piece, part of Martha Evans on 36 count prairie grass. I think I said 36 count prairie last time.
You did.
And I put sawdust in it instead.
And
I'm digging it. Touch it and see what you think.
Wait. Does it have wool also, or just sawdust?
Just sawdust.
Why isn't it heavier?
Well, so it's just like little chips, like this big.
Oh, it's sawdust. It's not the walnut shells.
Yes.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking about, the walnut shells. Oh, I like the sawdust.
I'm much happier with it.
Because it has the, I'm comparing it to walnut shells.
It's much lighter.
It has the feel for it, but it's much lighter.
And I want to sit side by side with you one time when you're stuffing with wool roving, because you mentioned that you do it slowly and
I'm just like.
So I kind of want to just watch your technique too. But I'm super happy with this. I chucked it on the guest bed. It looks cute.
Oh, okay. I'm so glad because it brought it up in the next level. It looks really good.
Or I just feel like, okay, I'm done with this. You know how you kind of fiddle with something? I'm done.
That's great.
Thanks.
Lovely. All right, so I've been still working on BH 1820, and I'll put a progress photo of where it was last time. And then once I pulled this out, I could not put it down.
I was surprised how quickly you just keep going. So
I finished it, and I've wet blocked it, and I've laced it. So it's all ready for its frame. And I'm going to use one of the floating frames, and I'm going to get a walnut. So I think like a darker brown will look that. So I'm just going to bring it in a little closer. And I think once I was really like into the Pennsylvania Dutch, this just continued to really speak to me, and I could not put it down.
So maybe.
And I'm still continuing to love this book, Samplers of Pennsylvania German. I'm really reading through it. So all of a sudden, you know, like this motif means something to me. I'm understanding what style of sampler this was for the Pennsylvania Germans. I like the alphabet now. I'm learning more about it. So I think just, of course, anytime you have more knowledge about something, it makes something more meaningful.
I was going to ask you, I don't see any personalization on this. Did you think about it? And what was your decision-making process?
You know what? It was one of those things, I didn't even think about it. And then once I blocked it, I think I was going back and looking at photos of yours, Anna, and then I realized you had put your initials and date. I'm like, I wish I'd done that. So it was more, I think I was so focused and happy, like, oh, it's so pretty, I finished it. I didn't think about that. And so I do want to personalize them some more.
Because that's something I still feel like I haven't done enough of. I don't know my style. I brought mine too, just for fun.
Just one more couple things.
Oh, sorry.
I'm promoting myself. I am advanced beginner lacer.
Okay, you always underestimate. You're intermediate.
No, I'm not. No, part of it is the speed. It still takes me a long time. Okay, so I'm just happy to be an advanced beginner. Okay, and I also feel like now, like, oh, I know what I'm doing. Like, I only have to watch like the YouTube video like once or twice again to refresh before I start. But I'm going to share something I'm feeling a little bit about lacing. I'm feeling, yes, it looks really crisp. It looks really smooth. You see the details. I'm feeling like I'm losing an element of the stitching because I feel like the drape and the heft of the linen is gone. So
it's almost like when it's so taut, you don't see the variations as much.
I don't know what it is, and like there's something I love about holding the linen in my hand.
But you wouldn't want this drapey in a frame.
Yeah, I know. So I'm just a feeling or it's an emotion. I'm feeling all the feelings. So I don't know. I just love if you have any thoughts about that. I know it looks so crisp and I'm really happy with this. I'd like
beautiful.
But maybe I also need to think about alternative finishing where somehow the linen is okay, this is what I'm feeling. I feel like the linen is not being allowed to be itself. It's being a little more prim and proper than it typically is.
Okay,
I don't know.
That image helps me.
Okay, this is just a half-formed idea. So if anybody wants to chime in, I would love to hear it. Okay, so Anna, this is really cool. So just some details about this one. It's designed by Queenstown Sampler Designs. Really recommend it. It was a really nice chart. And she did this really great thing where she gave you two colorways. This colorway was the colors that she saw from the back of the antique sampler. Anna did it in the colorways that the front, what it muted into. So I love that. And I stitched this on Lakeside Linen Vintage Bisque, 36 count. And then I used the called for NPIs that were from the back or the original colors for the sampler. And I stitched 1/2. Okay, so hold yours up, Anna. Okay, why don't you put it on your board?
I was very proud that I remembered to bring my board over, and now I have to remember to use them.
Yeah. Okay, so
it's a little bit hard to hold them.
It's hard to compare.
Oh yeah, it is. It's hard to
Maybe
compare.
one interesting thing to look at. Let's look at this. This is called a Noble Heart. We call it the water bug before. We're not doing that anymore.
I know.
And let's look at that center. So look at that. It was this vibrant orange initially, very corally,
and mine is
like that muted
pink.
You know, the black stayed fairly black. I'm just looking for some more.
I mean, this turquoise is the thing that stands out the most to me because mine is like a gray
Okay,
green.
so let's again look at the Noble Heart in the center, and mine is a very vibrant turquoise.
And mine is like a gray green. I can't tell if it's focusing or not. I think that's the, and then your bright yellow. Oh no. Oh, the bright. Look at the bright yellow.
Okay, so then here's the pot of flowers in the bottom center. And I have very vibrant, particularly this yellow right here. And so let's look at yours.
Mine is pink right there. Anyway.
So 1820.
We should put a post on Instagram.
Put them flip, and or maybe put some side by side. Or even looking at how the green, like looking at the alphabet, is a good comparison up here.
Yeah.
So. And this, now that I'm learning more about samplers, there are 4 basic Pennsylvania Dutch style samplers, and this is a centered motif because this has in the center there, and then also is featuring some mirror image motifs there.
And there. Mm-hmm. I like that it's almost mirror. It's like mirror image in terms of its weight, but it's not exactly the same thing. Stitching that, I thought that was cool.
I agree. So really nice symmetry with that. So these were bigger motifs, and then the smaller motifs, and then these kind of funky squarish motifs.
Okay.
I know. So
I love them both.
For the floating frames, at least for me, it was really important. I need to have it fully laced first so I can get my dimensions, because if you remember the floating frame, it's going to sit inside the frame with just an 1/8 of an inch margin around. So I really wanted to make sure I had my measurements correct. And I'm going to do this for 3 pieces and then order 3 frames at the same time, because the shipping was really expensive.
Oh, I remember you said
So I'm
that.
just curious if I order multiple frames for that. All right, so this was BH 1820. Anna, what are you going to do with yours?
I think I want to do a floating frame. I'm probably going to use a walnut frame too. So who knows, like when I have a little more time in the summer, maybe it'll line up that we could even order a couple of things together. But
I also have a little savings on the side too, because even though we're framing it ourselves, these particular frames still like about $100. So
it's the solid wood part,
yeah.
right?
All right, the next finish is my second spring salt box. And I'm doing the full border at the bottom. And I will fully finish this like I did the first one. Oh, it's over there. But I have it looking like a Polaroid, just laced on a piece of board, and then I have it sitting in a photo stand. So, and this one I did not wet block. I did not even steam iron it. I just ironed it, and then I'll lace it.
Yeah. Every time I see these, I'm like, so cute. I mean, it's so cute.
Such a fun stitch, and I'm participating in the Salt Box Solstice SAL, and it's organized by 3 young, vibrant stitchers: Lauren of the New Hampshire Stitcher, Caitlin of Cross Stitch Kate, and Jessica of Sweetwater Stitcher. And I am all primed and ready for summer. I bought my chart. And I have all my floss. It's all kitted up. I haven't picked my linen yet, but I'll just pick something from stash. So I'm super, super excited for June to start the summer ones.
And I watched Cross Stitch Kate for the first time this week and really enjoyed her floss too.
Yeah. And Anna, are you going to participate?
So I am. This is part of the fun of cross stitching for me, because I was really enjoying watching Carolyn do these, and I didn't think I was going to stitch them, and then I think I'm also getting. Ooh, the end of the school year is coming. What am I going to do this summer? I want some few small projects, so I have ordered the supplies for the summer.
Okay, good.
I don't have them. Oh, maybe I'll have them next FlossTube.
Yeah, and if you're interested, it's fun to go look at that tag, because I think I'm one of the few finishing it as individual, and I'm one of the few that's adding the full border. Several of the stitchers are putting them all in one piece.
Oh.
And in different ways. So it's really, I totally encourage you go look at that and just see how different people are working on it. And it's also really fun. Every one features 2 houses. So it's fun to see which one is everybody's favorite, because
I think when I receive my flosses, I am going to rinse them and see what happens.
Yeah. Good. I'm going to do that too. Another commenter said she does this a lot with knitting yarn that's been hand dyed, is she rinses it in vinegar, and that
like soak or rinse. Like, are we envisioning like?
I think soak for the vinegar. I think you probably make a vinegar solution and you soak it in there. I think I'm going to soak the. I have to think about what I want to do.
I might read a little bit more about it.
But definitely for the overdyed, it's worth it. Okay.
I think I've been sort of running like, yeah, I heard threads can run, and I've tested a few of mine single strand on paper towels in the past, but haven't really thought about it too much. Now I'm like, well, maybe we better think about it.
Yeah, and before I did my BH 1820, even though it was silk and I was pretty confident the silk was going to be color fast, every single one I did the full test. So I'm like, having that happen to me one time, lesson learned, but second or third time, That's just all my bad.
That's right. That's right. Right.
Okay, so let's go and do some whips.
Some works in progress.
All right,
So
why
I
don't
have
you start?
Thanks. I have a new
I'm
start.
gonna have a little bit more chocolate.
And this is a chart that I bought up at Acorns and Threads around the holidays. It's ink circles arranging mushrooms. And the stitch count is 87 by 57. I'm going to start putting the stitch count in.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Because I also want to get my eye used to estimating stitch count. And I get my little...
It's hard because sometimes you look at a photo and you gagging myself on chocolate.
Do you want me to speak for a minute?
It's good. And you think it's going to be small. Then you look at this stitch count, it's like 150 by 130.
Right.
Oh, so I love these, Anna.
So it's all classic colors, and it's a lot of neutral. And then there are these pops of color. Notice I chose the center star where the huge red mushroom is. There's more of the cap on that center mushroom, but oh my goodness, so much fun. And I'm loving classic colorworks. I'm wondering.
Oh, what do you think is different?
I think, to me, it feels like there's either a tighter twist or a twist that untwists less, because I have the opposite problem that most people have. My thread doesn't twist onto each other. It does when I sew with sewing thread. My thread untwists as I stitch, and it really changes the look of the stitches. And I have had much less problem with
So, Anna, I'd be curious, because I always thought all over dyers started with DMC. But maybe not. Maybe not. Or maybe the dye process, like, it'd be interesting just to see, do they use DMC as their base? Or maybe there's something about their process of how they're drying, or...
Right, and I had forgotten, because I had heard that too. I bet you're right. So just maybe just like with linen, some linen after it's dyed feels tighter. I'm wondering if it's something like that. And then, sometimes these things go into my head and I'm like, wait, is this just my imagination? Anyway, I'm loving stitching with them. And
it's beautiful.
Thanks.
Beautiful.
This is one of these things where I'm stitching like a mushroom one night and then I don't touch it for a couple of nights, and it's a little bit of a surprise start for me. And
beautiful.
You know how we do. We kind of like keep it draped out when you're not not working on it, and you pass it and you're like,
you have like your furniture around like your main room, which has like cross stitch stuff on it.
Yeah. So really enjoying that.
Okay.
What's next? Oh yeah.
All right, next one. And I'm going to try to show bags more often. Okay. So this is a bag that Anna made.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
I love this one.
Oh, that was one of my first ones.
So this is Susanna Kreibel, 1841. And this is a reproduction sampler. And it was her great-great-granddaughter, Laura Hebner, who did the reproduction. And this was the antique sampler, and it's from the Schwenkfelder Library and Heritage Center. And so I went there and they have everything cataloged. So I thought, can I get a better image online? But the image was not great, but there was a link to say request copy of image. So I requested a color digital, and I just said, personal use, I'm stitching this, I'd love to see it. So they sent me a really nice digital quality, so I'm going to insert it here. It's really helpful because I started to look at like how the colors were picked, and looking at the original, I can see this. And the reason I was thinking about this is it was charted in DMC, but I wanted to do a silk conversion because the original one was stitched with silk and linen. So this is why I went to Needle in a Haystack. So I got MPI silks.
Really pretty colors.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, several of the colors, particularly ones that faded, I would pick two colors. So for example, there was sort of this very dusty salmon, and I picked two versions. The top one I think of as a lighter version, and the bottom is a little bit more saturated. I did that for the salmon, and I did that for this yellow. And part of the reason I did that was there was so much ghosting on this sampler. I didn't want it always to go, so I'm kind of picking and choosing, and there's some situations where I'm using the lighter one, so it's ghosting a little bit more into linen, and other times I'm using the more saturated one, kind of depending on the situation. So here's my progress so far. I'm up. I always start at the top. What's that, top right? So I've been working on the alphabet.
It's really like it's like I haven't seen a sampler like this in terms of the colors and everything. It's really interesting to watch it grow.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to look. I'm not sure. Like when I look at the original photo, I would have really. I think I might. I don't know. I feel like the colors aren't like. I don't know. Did she pick them from the back? Because particularly this dusty salmon, I don't really see it as much in the original sampler, but whether that, when we looked at our faded version.
What was my...
So she doesn't tell us whether she took the colors from the back or from the front, but I think they're pretty, and I'm going to keep going with it. The linen I'm using 37 count corkscrew willow by Legacy Linens. And this linen, I learned something new, and you all might already know this, but this actually linen is, where did I put this? A Satima, S-A-T-E-M-A linen, and it's a medium weight linen from Italy.
How did you find this out?
Oh, the tag. The one thing I love about Needle and Haystack, when you get the linen, they serge the whole thing and they attach a new label to you, and it said Satima linen in the name, and I thought this was Legacy Linen. So I looked up that word thinking it was a company, but then learned, oh no, just like Zweigart is a type of company linen, this is another company that doesn't. And of course, then I'm like, of course that makes sense. That's why Legacy Linens are like 30.
The almonds.
That's why Legacy Linen is like 37 count. It's like not.
Do you think all Legacy Linen is this?
I wonder.
I mean, definitely Cloister Cream has always felt a little heavier to me.
But I love, and this is maybe what made me start thinking about the linen. I love the drape of this linen, and all it wants me to do, like I want to make some like table linens or something.
Yes.
Like a table runner with like a design down the middle.
Yeah.
But I love the feel of this, and I love how the stitches lay on.
We're going to be ordering 2 yards of linen before we know it, because we both are interested in a table runner.
But it was just like all of a sudden I'm like, of course not all linen is Zweigart. Like I knew that, but I hadn't really started to experience. I'm like, oh, I feel the difference in this linen.
And even if you knew that, I don't think it occurred to me that linen would be different weights for cross stitch, for cross stitching.
So I'm really enjoying this, and part of it is I am just geeking out with all the Pennsylvania Dutch stuff and feeling connected to my heritage and just everything about it. So I'll continue to be. Oh, and I just have to show you. I can't wait to get down this. Okay, Susanna, her name, you might not be able to see it, but it's right down in here. And that girl, every letter in her name, she used at least 2 different colors. So she is just like, I am Susanna Kribel, and this is me. Yeah. And she stitched this when she was 16. So kind of thinking about her. I think in general, Pennsylvania Dutch stitched theirs, samplers, they were a little bit older. So they weren't like the 7 to 10 at going to a school and stitching then. Most of them were more in their teens when they did their samplers.
Okay, great.
Okay, so Susanna Kribel, new start, loving it.
I want that dark blue to get in there. Oh, is that down here a little bit?
That's that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, what's next? Oh, Fruits of Plenty. Okay. This is one we're both working on. I'm using a charcoal linen. Carolyn's using an indigo linen that she dyed herself. And we are giving, I always have to get we're giving assignments.
I know, it's mirror image in there.
And last time Carolyn suggested that we work on these sort of chevron-like things between this triangle and this triangle. Things. You see my very specific vocabulary?
Let's see where you are.
And I got into a nice groove. I really enjoyed the repetition.
Anna,
now we have to do like, woo.
You did a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, what was the repetition? What were you doing?
I mean, I just had a way of stitching these triangles, and I was starting them with a pin stitch at the top. So last time I tried to pin stitch on this was months ago. They all fell out. So far, so good. I think I must be piercing.
It's so important. You got to pierce it. Both times you go through it, you got to pierce the thread.
And
it looks so good.
I watch a lot of Warriors games and just like zip, 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 zip. I kind of liked, and I had that big field trip, and I kind of was in the mood for not much thinking. So this was a great assignment for me.
Good.
And also, I didn't finish some of our previous assignments, most notably the interior of this octagon, but I was thinking, keep up with the current assignment, Anna, which is what I always suggest to students. Maybe they've been absent for a while, they're just having a really hard time. Just try to get tomorrow's homework done, and we'll worry about the stuff that you missed, like in little chunks, or just maybe not do some of it. I don't know. So that was my thinking.
Anna's really speaking to me right now. So I did not do my assignment.
It's okay.
I had every intention, but a whale and hand, foot, and mouth disease, not mine, but somebody else's, kind of like
some unnamed person.
Kind of. But I told Anna, I'm like, still give us our next assignment because I want to keep going. But I like that. What I'm going to do is once you give us the assignment, I'm going to do that and keep moving forward and then go back and fill that in. So I like that strategy.
And I'm actually finding that our last assignments have been rather large, and with WIPCO and this, I'm thinking if we're still working on this in 2024 and giving large assignments, I almost wonder if one WIPCO pull a month is going to be better for me than two. So I'm going to give us a smaller assignment, which works out. This was my plan all along before I knew that.
Because we both maybe have a little catch up.
I would like us to do.
I'm like, yes.
Having a hard time.
It's for us looking in, it's mirror image.
These vines and this squirrel, and maybe just the top of that octagon. So there's a little triangle, like a barbell, a little triangle, a bar, a little triangle.
Okay.
And this. But this, like, our main goal is to get this squirrel
and it's
done.
the squirrel over on the left side.
You've already done this one.
Okay,
so it's the one that's actually on the octagon.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Okay, good. Anna.
So it's a little vines, an acorn, and a squirrel.
Yes.
And then we can each maybe do a little filling in of some other things.
I like that.
Or we have maybe another small assignment. Well, we'll see. We'll see where we are in 2 weeks. Because I have to say, bringing the length down to here, I'm like, I can sort of really see how long it's going to be. And we're about halfway, so we have lots and lots to do. But I'm starting to
bringing the borders down.
Well, I know we're gonna we're both pretty determined. We're gonna finish this. I'm also considering. I'm jumping way ahead. I'm considering doing 2020, even though I know this came out in 2021, just to mark the pandemic. Just 2020. It's when we started cross stitching, and this was so comforting to have something new to learn and to do when we were spending so much time at home.
No, I like that.
That's popped in my head.
Because I think, dates don't have to be when you stitched it, right? Because a lot of times we put dates on to commemorate other things.
I'm going to slap a note on the back with my reasoning.
Yeah, exactly. Explain your reasoning, please, Anna.
Exactly.
Okay, my next one is another new start. I had a couple of finishes. I actually I think I like working on like 3 or 4 things at a time.
I've heard other people say that.
And once I get to a certain point on a piece, I like to keep going till I finish it. I think I'm going to find I'm not a person that has a lot of stalled whips unless they're stalled for a reason. So like I had 2 finishes. I think I finished one on Wednesday, one Thursday, and then I had 2 new starts, like a Friday and a Saturday. So it's kind of like I finished it and I started it. So this one is, I'm having this in another bag Anna made me. I like these clear fronts. I want to try to make one of these myself. When everybody was working on the strawberry fair, it was a SAL this spring. I had FOMO. I don't really get FOMO a lot.
No, you don't.
I love seeing everybody's. And so the designer, and it's October House Fiber Arts, she has Honey Fair, and there's a SAL for this one as well. I'm like, I'm totally in. I'm going to do it. And I think I've talked about this a lot. I love SALs. I just love them.
Right.
I also ordered the strawberry. When I ordered this, I also got strawberry fear, and I think I'll go back and do that. Now I decided I wanted to do a silk conversion. So I got all my silks out, my Avera Soie 103 in Gobelins, and I did a conversion. And this is a little, I think it might have been a jewelry case from the Container Store, but it has like just a drawer, and I feel like it holds 10 can lay flat, and then you can put a few more, you know, on the top.
It's really nice and sturdy and good looking.
And it has little feet, so you can put your projects in there.
I opened the drawer, see how it feels.
It feels so good. Okay.
Oh,
I know.
It almost slipped out.
But there are so many different golds, and it was almost everything for my stash, but I got 2 more when I went up to Needle and Haystack. I needed a very vibrant yellow. I got that. And then I wanted a brown that was a warmer brown. The brown I had in my stash had more green in it, and I wanted something warmer. So I'm just filling out my stash.
I mean, I could look at those threads all afternoon.
So I'm
pretty.
stitching this. I decided to also try a darker linen just to see how things went. So I'm using 36 count dark cobblestone by Zweigart, and I think this is the same as the mushroom.
It is. It is.
Yeah. And here's my progress so far. And I was hoping that my silks would really pop off this dark linen. And so far, I'm happy with it. And I can't wait. The B-skep will be right in this area. And I start up at, look at them over here. I start at the top right and work over.
I like the way those colors are looking on that fabric a lot.
Yeah. Because I think I don't have a lot of experience with linens yet, I kind of go, well, I'll just do it on a light linen and see the colors. So I'm kind of branching out and trying some different things and seeing if it works or not. So Honey Fair, this sal started May 1st, and a lot of people have already finished, and I just really am enjoying it. I'm so glad I'm participating, and I have to get my photo in and start doing it.
Huh. So, get on that hashtag.
And this is a mix of 103s and Gobelins. Okay, come on, isn't that beautiful?
It is.
I really have to thank Katie Strachan for the fact that I have this beautiful stash, because this is now, I think I have 4 silk kits from her, and I've stitched some of them, and I have 1 still to stitch. But I feel like another benefit besides having these beautiful pieces to work on from her is I feel like I have a stash of things that already go together. And now I'm just pulling in more colors and kind of enhancing it. I don't have a lot of blues or purples, so that's one thing. I love color. I love color.
These. I mean, like I love MPI silks. They're so soft and but these are. I know. Even from afar, the sheen on them.
And I think I slightly prefer Gobelins. I think Gobelins are a little harder to stitch with.
You get the tension. You got tension.
You got tension, but I love them because they really pop. Right, so
they have a nice little loft to them. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yes. Okay. In a previous video during my spring break, I explained that I want to make a quilt for the next grandchild who's due soon, and I was
the 7th girl.
Looking at fabrics, messing around. I'm replicating the pattern from an old heirloom quilt that I have. That's red, white, and blue. And I wanted to use neutrals and maybe some pinky purples, as my girlfriend said. You know that color of dogwood? That like sort of purpley pink dogwood. So that's what I went for. And S&J, I don't think you watched the videos, but if you are watching
this video, this far,
jump to the next thing because they told me they want to be surprised. Anyway, I'm at the point now where I've played. You should have seen my living room. I've decided on the colors. I'm going to have different sections in the quilt, and so now I'm into the making. And here is the top left segment. I'm really happy with it.
It looks so good.
So, of course, the pinky purple probably pops out to most people first, but there's also that neutral shape. So there's like I haven't looked up the name of this pattern. It's a famous pattern. I want to call it a basket.
Tell me, you said this is the top corner. Will there be more? Will it be wider?
Yes,
don't hold
much.
Oh, much.
Like this is. I mean, I'm always sketching everything. I just did this.
Oh, it's gonna be a big.
There's gonna be a section down here. It's gonna be.
It's gonna be almost like a bed quilt,
like a throw quilt, or maybe on top of a twin or something. And the next section is going to be more neutral. This is going to be what the baskets are made of, and then these are going to be the accents. So there's only this pink, and it's the lightest pink.
Oh, okay. So it's going to still be the same. Yeah. It's still going to be the same combination, the same block, but you're just changing your fabrics.
Right.
Okay.
So there's going to be these pops of pink occasionally, but most of it is going to be super neutral, which is their style.
Right.
And every section that touches another section has some shared, like this tan is shared.
Aha. So that will transition it.
A little, I don't know. I'm still not sure how effective it's going to be, but like I said, I have played with it so much, and I have this idea of sections that I can't let go of.
Yeah.
So I'm going for it.
It's fabulous.
Thanks. I'm
Fabulous.
I'm very happy with it. This is a double gauze, which is not a quilting fabric.
Oh.
So this is the front and this is the back. It's 2 pieces of gauze that are, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it.
Oh, is that what double gauze is?
Yeah, it's literally double gauze, and it's stitched. Do you see these little stripes?
Oh, yes.
They're stitched together. This is probably not going to wear very
I was
well.
about to say, how is that going to?
I just can't. I saw this fabric and I was like, I'm using that fabric. And it's just a good thing that Birdie knows how to mend. Birdie's my grandmother knows. Because I don't know, if this starts falling apart, I'm only using this. It's very dominant in this section, but it's not dominant in the quilt. Because I didn't know if that would be too much pink for them.
Yeah.
So,
Anna. Okay. So you don't have any, it's just going to be done when it's done. It's not going to be the baby's going to be due. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'll finish it this summer. I don't want to wait too long.
Okay.
By the time they feel she's old enough to plunk her down on the living room floor, maybe it'll be done by then.
Okay. Very nice. Very good. All right. My next whip is in a bag I made, Teresa Kogut bird fabric. And this is Crow number 5 by Kathy Barrick. And I got the pattern and the call for MPIs from Hillside Rookery. And these are the call for it. And I've added a color. So let's now just see where. All right, when I looked at this, I see orange in the center of the octagons. But the called for NPIs have no orange. It's that tanny brown. Mm-hmm. So here's my progress. First, let me put a photo where I was last time. Okay.
Looking good.
So
love
here's where I am now. And I just I introduced one orange. Mm-hmm. I got a couple of different options. Again, this is when I went to Needle in a Haystack. It was a time where I needed to see the colors. And I've put it in these 2. So I need some feedback. What do we think about that? Do we like that orange? Do I put it on all? Do I mix? Do I keep trying maybe another orange?
I'm liking the mix. That's looking pink to me.
Looking pink to you.
I would encourage you to try another orange just to see what that looks like.
It looks pink. Okay. Because this is such an interesting, it's kind of like a browny, fleshy orange.
Yeah. I think that looks good.
Mm-hmm.
But it reads pink.
It reads pink.
Okay. I'll be curious to hear what you all think.
So I'm having a great old time with this. I'll do a thread in the octagon, a thread in the bird, a thread in the octagon. And because this orange is only used in the center, I'm just going to keep doing all the black. Sure. And particularly as I have more, if I have other ones to try, I'm going to try it. And I may end up just not taking out the ones that are already there. So I would love, it's never too late for feedback. So please give me feedback about what are you thinking about that orange? Do you like the idea of trying to put an orange in? I feel like just the tan, and maybe it was also the linen I picked, and this linen is
factoring in
36 count straw from Weeks. Maybe it just felt flat to me. I felt like I really needed another color.
I'm 100% in favor of you introducing an orange.
Okay, so
can we just celebrate that 5? I just think that is really pretty.
I know. And I love that the number, there's a little period after the O for that. So really, really enjoying this. And it's fun to me. It's like fun. I'm like, okay, we got to find that perfect orange. Okay.
Do you already have other MPI possibilities?
Yeah, but I think they're going to be.
Well, we can wait till next time too.
Oh, they might be in here. They might be more on that pinker side too. These were 2 others I picked. I wasn't sure how they looked.
Yeah. I think I just keep wanting to go a little golder. But I don't think that the one you've used looks bad or anything.
So taking the orange more into the yellow side than the red side.
Yeah.
I mean, those are really.
No, that's not good.
See that? It's, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe with the fabric, that's not, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, playing. Any opinions greatly appreciated for that. All right, crow number 5. Oh, okay. Starting to stack up here. You know, people talk about what you start off, you're so neat and organized, I have everything layered on a tray, and then by the end it's like, boom. Okay, I have been, my 4th granddaughter, baby A, is about to turn 1. She's gonna be 1 on Monday. And I really wanna have her blanket finished for her birthday. And here I have the whole body of the blanket done, and all I'm gonna do is put an I-cord edging all the way around it. I say only because it takes a little bit of time, but it gives like this really nice crisp edge.
Yes.
And
she can drag it around by that. We haven't seen this in a while. Wow,
I know,
Carolyn.
I know. I've been really going to town on it. And I'm using 2 yarns by La Bien Amie. One is Yellow Brick Road, which is all the yellow, and you can see it up at the top. I just have been using Yellow Brick Road. And the other one is called Grello. It's a variegated gold and grays. And when you look at the body of it, what I would do is you can kind of see these little baubles. There's a row of baubles in the gold, a row of baubles in the Grello. So I felt like that really kind of mutes down the variegation. You don't get any pooling, but you get a great feel.
Very pretty.
And I wish you all could feel this blanket.
Yes, I was just about to say the same thing.
It feels so good. And this was just a stitch pattern that I got out of a stitch dictionary. And I used the same stitch pattern for her older sister's blanket, but just use different colors, and hers is more striped. So it's a little bit of similarities, but it's really different. So I can't wait for baby A. She's full on walking. Like she is just going, she can walk and hold things, and she's just ready for her blanket. So I'm really, really motivated to have this done in a couple of days for her birthday. And then that will be for the 4 baby blankets done for them.
It's really fun to make things for them.
It really is. All right, now my last one. Okay.
Speaking of granddaughters.
Speaking of granddaughters, and I can be impulsive at times. Plus, I'm on sabbatical. So my oldest granddaughter is going to turn 3 at the end of next week, and I was just texting with parents and just being, hey, is anything particular on her birthday list? And what came back was, one item was she's like all into beluga whales. So I'm like,
not just any whale,
beluga whales. So what do you do as a Gramsci who cross stitch? You get on, you Google beluga whale cross stitch, and sure enough, a pattern came up. So let me show you the pattern. And I'm like, a week? Sure, I can do that, and I can make her a little pillow. And I already have some nice little chenille trim to put on it. I'm like, this pillow is going to be. So I found this pattern for a beluga whale.
Baby blue.
So I'm like, great. So went to Michael's, got all my DMC, and then same thing as I wanted to use a blue fabric because I'm just gonna make a little pillow, put a little trim on it, and not a precious pillow at all. Like throw it around, put it in your bed, and here's what I have so far.
It looks great.
I have the
Carolyn,
tail
so
and the
happy.
bottom fin. I'm starting to do the head there.
How are you keeping track? I mean, I have a hard time with there's a lot of moving around of the different colors. Is it hard to keep track of?
I'll just show you. I'm just on a tablet. No, I don't think I can zoom it in and I can really see.
I see.
On that. So here, by the way, I think Anna's talked about these before. These little bags from the Container Store. First of all, I love the feel of them for some reason, and the zipper, but I've been putting my floss in here and then putting that in the bags. So just lots of bright colors for DMC. Okay, you guys. It's a lot. It's so much stitching.
But you finished the tail.
I'm not even going to tell you how much I've already stitched on this. And I'm like, okay, her birthday's on Friday. I will probably have to like FedEx this to her on Thursday. Okay, I've never really done anything that was full coverage like this. Like I've, you know, stitched my house or grass, but with all these color changes, it takes a really long time. I'm totally enjoying it, but it's funny, like I'm definitely more of a process stitcher than a product, but all of a sudden I have this deadline, so I'm a product stitcher right now. So I don't like that element of feeling rushed, but
she's worth it.
But I am determined to get this thing done. So, what do you think of the fabric I picked, the blue?
Fabulous,
Yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah. So I tweaked a few things. So that's my beluga, and I'm just again gonna finish it as a pillow. I think I'm gonna stuff it with wool. I have the chenille trim, and in fact, I already had some in the stash that was like a lighter turquoise for this, and really just tell the family like this is not meant to be precious. Like throw it around, put it in your bed, like whatever.
Right. Chuck it in the stroller.
Chuck it in the stroller. Just enjoy it because she loves her belugas right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my last story. So this is why I haven't done Fruits of Plenty.
Oh, of course.
I've been like,
you're right.
Even like last night, I'm like, you gotta step to 11 and keep working on this because like I keep this deadline.
Your priorities. Yeah.
Priorities, right? Like a birthday present. Okay, so
It's cool.
fun.
I really like it.
All right.
Plans.
Okay, Anna, it's so funny. I'm like, we don't have that much today, and we're already like up to almost an hour.
You've done like 1,000 projects.
Do I have to go back to work?
It's so fun watching what she's making. All right,
Okay,
plans. Of course, I want to keep sewing the quilt.
Yeah.
My Whipco things. One of them was to organize our cross stitch things, which when we do supplies, I'll touch on that a little bit. My other one is to get into Family Sampler, which we nicknamed the Farm Sampler. And I also want to learn I have a little bit of information about who in our family stitched that sampler, and I want to learn a little bit more about her. Still some Fruits of Plenty. I want to get to that squirrel. And this is far off, so this is not a this month plan, but I'm Katie Strachan again. She's an influencer. I gotta try something teeny tiny. I'm absolutely captivated by, is it 56 count? I'm gonna try it.
Okay.
I'm gonna try it. I might try it. I know I should probably just try a small. I might try a sampler snack on teeny tiny linen.
Really?
I don't know. I just have to try it. I have a feeling I'm gonna enjoy it.
Okay. I want to try it too. But I don't think I'm going to go sampler snack. I think I'm going to do something like really small to try.
Maybe I should just try one Pennsylvania Dutch motif.
Yes. Yeah. Good. Good. All right, plans. I'm going to finish my 2 gifts here for the 2 granddaughters coming up. I want to get caught up on my Fruits of Plenty assignment, and I'm enjoying my whips so much right now. I just want to kind of keep working on the things I'm doing.
You got a lot
I'm really
of
happy
good stuff going
with my whips. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, shared supplies.
We expect them all to be finished at the next FlossTube.
Yeah. And then my son's family comes in a week from when, so I think I'll slow down a little bit. I'm just, until that point, full steam ahead.
Right. Okay, so one of my Whipco picks was to organize our supplies a little bit. And the thing we started with was boxes to categorize our patterns. And once again, at the Container Store, I looked around online for a lot of boxes, and I should have looked up the name of these. I can't remember. I think I saw these over the shoulder of Cross Stitch Kate.
Okay.
I think they're a very common storage box from the Container Store. But these have really worked for us. And the categories we have here are East Coast Samplers and Fractor, seasonal pieces, and a box for big samplers. We have something like 10 or 12.
We have 9. We have 9.
9 boxes. So, and there's room in them still, but it was very fun for me because we had patterns at both of our houses, and we had a day where we sort of dealt them out into categories.
And these have been fun because it's so much easier now for us to look through our patterns, because you can just, if you want, just grab a box and pull them through.
I was like, I think I'll take home the small box for a few nights. And I'm curious, what would be a category that you would put on a box? Like what kind of category do you have clusters of? That'd be fun to hear in the comments. And the other thing that I bought
and part of rearranging, now that we had these 9 boxes, and we're keeping most of our shared supplies at my house, but I wanted, before they were kind of in a closet in a room, but I brought them out so Anna can easily just come into our door is never locked, or so she can just come in and she doesn't have to feel like she's going through the closet. Like, I wanted everything just to be right in that room, really easily accessible.
Very thoughtful. Yeah. I feel very
but I want to make
welcome to bust into your house.
Okay, good.
And I'm laughing because this is the book Carolyn showed on the last FlossTube, and after that FlossTube, I think I said something to you. Next time you're traveling, I'm going to borrow it.
Yeah.
This is so dense, and we're so interested in this. I just thought it was worth having my own copy.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying this, and so much more to. I've barely read anything in it yet. I'm just loving it.
Yeah. Good.
Your supplies?
Okay, so there is a particular designer that we've sort of just been following along with her. Her name is Joji, and she's the Artsy Housewife. And she's from Texas, and she has a FlossTube. I think she's done 2 episodes. I don't know if she's done a 3rd.
I've watched one. So
okay.
I'm not
I've seen the 2.
up-to-date.
And she just started designing in January. And we've been eyeing all her charts. And I said, okay, I'm just going to go and we're going to get some. So let me show the ones I've picked. This one is called Grace.
And that has 3 different linens.
And she stitched it with 3 different linens that she sewed together. For this, I think I'm going to stitch it just on a single linen. And I probably won't put the word Grace. I'm going to do either some other personalization or put some other motif or something down in there.
Okay.
But I just love like the blocks of color, and it's kind of folksy but also modern. It reminded me a little bit of Fractor.
That's the thing. I think I'm drawn to hers because they are tangential to Fractor or something.
Yeah, and then here she has her size on the back. It's 149 by 130. She's also a beautiful painter and an artist. So you can see, to me, I see some of this artistic. This is Byron the Blackbird, and of course I love that bird.
I really like that one.
And the stars. Lots of personality on this one. And then this is Bedelia the bunny. And I think the same idea, like we sort of like the flora and fauna, and it has all 3 of these to me also have like a real geometric.
And change of scale.
Change of scale.
So
I'm
looking forward to these.
I think I'm gonna do this one.
I would be happy starting with any. I really like them all.
Yeah. So really fun. Just wanted to share those with you. And
we're sitting here like dreaming in our heads. Oh, excuse me.
It's also fun. Like, I really appreciate people that have that entrepreneurial spirit, because I actually don't. That's something that I don't have. But I appreciate it in other people, and just this really cool idea of like starting your business and putting yourself out there and putting your designs out. So I think it's really fun to watch that process and then to support it as well. That was cool.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay. And then I've got a few things from Needle and Haystack that we've already kind of talked about along the way, right? So it's that magic time. Thumbs up.
Time for thumbs up.
Okay. Anna.
All right. My thumbs up are all related to the joys of being a grandmother. I'm thinking about this, of course, Mother's Day weekend, but also just watching the antics of my 1.5-year-old granddaughter and expecting the second one soon. I've just been thinking about this. So I find it really endearing to watch my own children parent their children. And as we said, like, I'm getting teary. Like, Gen 3 is just knocking it out of the park.
We're just so out of the park.
Proud of all of you.
Yeah.
It's
the moms and the dads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's just so much tenderness and love and attention being given to these children, these precious children. I also enjoy kind of getting it's like a second round, a second chance to watch a child's development up so close, as we did with our own children. With your grandchildren, just all the cute little new words that they develop and what they're into, beluga whales, whatever. It's just so fun to watch this new little personality emerge.
And we know so much more about the brain, like with all the brain research, and especially as teachers, and just watching the ones that are 1 right now, they are just building their generative maps in their heads of their predictive modeling, right? Like all the stuff we know about brains, and and you see it in action. It's just magical. It's amazing.
It really is like, it's miraculous. Yes. And then I just, the people in your family, you just feel such a depth of love, like a love that is, when I start to worry about things or start to feel overwhelmed by something at school or something, I think like, stop it. Like, go to, well, I guess what we were saying about mom, like what's most important is, the love and relationships. So that's my little birdie moment.
Nice, birdie. Great. All right, my thumbs up. My first number one thumbs up is, okay, the exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. I'm in, before this today, I've always been embarrassed because I overuse it. Like, particularly at work, when I send an email.
Mine's gonna edit.
I have to go back and edit and be like, it has to at least be every other sentence at the maximum. But it's just how I feel sometimes. And I notice, like, when I'm leaving comments on Instagram or FlossTube, it's like an exclamation mark on every sentence because it's actually how I'm feeling. So from this day forward, I am embracing, if you get a comment from me and it is all exclamation marks, you just know it is genuine and it's just how I'm feeling. All right, thumbs up to that.
I support you.
Okay, thank you. My next thumbs up is, I just want to give a thumbs up to all the encouraging and inspiring humans out there. Like, I don't know, the humans I'm going to tell you about, they're part crafter, they're part artisan, they're part historian, they're part motivational speakers, and there are many of you out there, but there are two I want to highlight today for thumbs up. And just because I've watched their YouTubes recently. The first one, hey, Strachan, I still cannot stop being a fangirl of yours. Her most recent video, she had this really magical trip to the attic. It sounded wonderful. Just hearing her talk about that and then talk about her journey and excitement about stitching on larger count linens and these tiny little pieces she's working on. It's like you can't help but get pulled into that excitement and that giddiness, and just like so inspiring and encouraging. And the second one is Susan Standley. And she, in her most recent one, was talking about the importance of a work basket for women and how she's spending her year exploring 1840 and lots of things around that. And she's like, at that time, every female in the household, whether you were the head of the household, the maid, the daughter, you had a work basket because it was so important, the amount of sewing you did. And she then went through like what was in a sample work basket. And it was, to me, it was so inspiring because I'm like, I want to build but I want to put together my own sewing work basket in a way that's really thoughtful. Like I've been thinking about this, but I want to like stitch my own needle book, like make it really personal. I think sometimes I feel like in our society, we often like just get things for like temporary, or, oh, we have a lot of those, or we'll get one more of that. And I think I want to think more about like getting really good tools and maybe really thinking about hand making things so that my work basket in itself is like a curated work of art. I don't know. I don't know. I just was so inspired by her to really like think about that. All right, so thumbs up to you, encouraging, inspiring humans out there. And then the last thing is, I just want to give a thumbs up to just like sharing with other people. And this is a little story about Cindy, and she's Cindy C Stitches on Instagram, and she was working on this beautiful Quaker, it was a Quaker Housewife pattern, and she's finished it. So go look at her Instagram. It's just beautiful. And I must have commented on like, oh, this is beautiful. I've never seen it before. It's something I want to stitch. And so she messaged me and she goes, well, would you like the pattern when I'm finished? I'm like, yeah, I love it. So she finished it, and then she sent me the pattern. I just want to show you the photo.
Gorgeous.
This is, as soon as I get one of my smalls done, this is going to be my next thing I start.
Is it going in your work basket?
Might go in my work basket.
Definitely.
I mean, one of the things that was in the work basket was your marking sampler. So I'm going to definitely make a marking sampler. I'm going to do one based on the Pennsylvania Dutch alphabet, and you just keep it rolled up in your work basket. It's going to go in there. And then she also sent, just in her card, some floss tags. I've never gotten floss tags from somebody, so it was really fun. So I thought this is just a wonderful, and when I asked her, I said, would you like me to send it back after I've stitched? And she goes, no, you can just pass it on. Keep it. So I thought this might be a nice piece. I'm going to add a little note. I'm going to say that, and I'll check with her, but maybe say she stitched it. Then when I stitched it, I'll put it on.
Keep a running list.
And then kind of keep it. I don't know if people do that. I do that sometimes, like if you have a paperback book, you write the name and date, and then you pass it on, and then you can sort of see who's done it.
I
So
like that idea.
I'm all for, like, I love buying charts and supporting designers, but I also love this idea of like having really enjoyed something and then sharing it with somebody else, because I feel like it's this pattern now has like special meaning because she's done such a beautiful job stitching it. I'm looking forward to taking my turn and then passing it on. So thumbs up to that, to sharing. Okay.
Awesome.
This is a long one. I hope you enjoyed it. I wonder if we rambled more. Did we have more to show?
I don't know. Once we get going, I kind of lose track of
I know.
so many things.
We borrowed my husband. I don't know why we're like, you can't be out here. So he's like, we put him in
We need a little privacy.
We need a little privacy
because
here,
we're about to
please.
make something that we're putting out to everybody who wants.
But then we do take him to pizza. We all go out to pizza.
It's very fun.
After that, jalapeno poppers also.
I don't know. We're in a roll. I'm wondering like how long it will last because I'm still enjoying it so much.
Me too.
Creatures of habit.
All right.
All right, Mid, we are rambling.
Okay. Well, until next time.
Happy crafting.
And stay curious. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.